So how was life growing up?
I had a great life growing up. I had two amazing parents. I was an only child growing up until my parents got divorced when I was pretty young, but still had a great relationship with both of my parents. I now have a half sister. She was born when I was 11. But both sides of my family were super loving. I spent a lot of time with both sides of with both my mom and my dad. My relationship with my mom has always been great. I lived with her. We spent a lot of time growing up together. And then I would say my dad's relationship with me got better as the years went on. And when I became an adult and could make the choices to spend more time with him, we got a lot closer. We found things that we had in common and spent a lot of time together. But I have no bad things to say about how I grew up. Both my parents love me very much. They were both super supportive. They both came to all my games and they both helped me with school and everything. So if I had to put it into like words, I would just say that I came from two loving parents and it was great. It was awesome.
Was it hard for you to adjust, or were you not born when the divorce happened?
I was young, so it wasn't a huge adjustment period internally, you know what I'm saying? Mom and dad didn't live together anymore, and that's all that I could really process, I think, when I was 3, you know? But as I grew up, I just figured out that, like, it was just better. My parents were happier apart, and that made for a happy relationship with me, you know what I'm saying? Because they were happy in their own lives. They were better parents, I believe, to me as I was growing up.
So growing up, you were with your mom almost all the time, and then you'd get to see your dad not once in a while, but...
Yeah, so I grew up, I was with my mom full time. But like my dad lived close. So I would go over there on the weekends for dinner, I would spend the night. But I definitely lived at like my mom's house for sure. But my dad was supportive. So every time if I had a soccer game on Saturday when I was a kid, he would be there. Early on, he was there on Christmas morning. He would always come over. He was there for all my birthdays and every special moment. He was a part of it. Picked me up from school, dropped me off at home. I just wanted to be at my mom's house, so that's why I stayed there.
So growing up, they both supported you in your athletics, whether it was...
Very much so, yeah. When we go big tournaments, one time I got to play in the Pee Wee National Tournament for hockey. I played for the Junior Sharks, and we flew all the way to Canada, and my dad and my uncle came, my mom came, everybody came, you know what I'm saying? So my dad very rarely missed a game, any game, anywhere, from the time I was 5 till the time I got to high school. He was always there for me.
So when you were younger, you played how many sports?
I first started off playing like baseball and soccer, I think, is what I first started out playing when I was a kid. And then after I stopped playing soccer, I always played baseball. I played baseball from the time I was 5 all the way till the time I was at high school. I played soccer early on. I always tried out for basketball in like middle school, but never made the team. Basketball really wasn't my thing. And then I ended up taking up a liking for hockey. So around 9, 10, I started playing hockey. 8-ish, I guess, and then I played, and I got playing pretty competitive. I played for the Junior Sharks, still played baseball, played for the Junior Sharks, traveled around, did a lot of tournaments, played a lot of hockey, and then when I played hockey all the way through my freshman year of high school, and then my freshman year of high school I played baseball and basketball. I didn't play football my freshman year. And then sophomore year I gave up basketball, gave up hockey because it kind of like the age requirement kind of went away. You know what I mean? There wasn't much hockey in San Jose at that time. And so I played football and baseball for the rest of my 3 years. So I played baseball, soccer, hockey, football, and basketball throughout my life.
And then going into high school, you played...
Started off just playing, freshman year I played basketball and baseball. Played baseball 4 years. I only played basketball for 1 year, and then I picked up football my sophomore year. So I played basketball for 1 year in high school, football for 3 years in high school, and baseball for 4 years in high school.
So if you went back, would you have changed any of the sports you played in high school? Or
I probably wouldn't have played basketball to begin with, and probably just gone out for the football team earlier on. I just never played before because my mom didn't allow me to play Pop Warner growing up, just for safety reasons. She didn't want me to get hurt. And then, but no, I think it all transitioned well for me. You know what I mean? I loved playing hockey, and that ended, and then I started playing football. So I would love to have tried other sports, but they were conflicting during season, like certain seasons, and I couldn't ever give them a try, like track and field and stuff like that. Maybe throwing shot put, but I have no regrets about high school at all. High school was fun.
So when you got into college, did you want to play any sports? Could you have gotten a scholarship coming out of high school to play a sport in college?
I did well in both baseball and football towards the end of my high school career. Football specifically did really well. That was only my third year, but I ended up winning a bunch of awards. First team All League, first team CCS. I was first team All Bay Area. I was first team Mid Peninsula. I was Mid Peninsula Player of the Year. I was Defensive Lineman of the Year for the WCL. So I did really well in football. I didn't have any D1 offers in football. I was a little bit too short for my position, but definitely could have played. Had a full ride to UC Davis. Had partial scholarships to a lot of other schools. And football, I was good at it. I didn't enjoy it as much of it as a lot of people. I was just big, strong, and fast. So I did something to be part of a high school team, but I didn't enjoy it as my favorite sport. I love baseball. So could have played they were all D2 at that point, or D1 AA, no D1 offers for football. But baseball, I did well. Did really well. Our team did really well too, and it was a lot of fun to be part of these teams. But baseball would have been more going and playing in JC and seeing where that took me. But definitely my first love was always baseball, so that's what I always focused on and cared about the most. I mean, I cared about football because we did well, and I always cared about the sports I was playing, but I focused more on baseball because it was the passion of mine, I guess.
What college did you go to?
I went to Arizona State in Tempe, Arizona. I'd grown up going to Arizona, so I was familiar with the area. It was far enough away, but still close to home, 2-hour flight, that kind of stuff. And
Seemed like the right choice.
yeah, it was awesome. It was a great choice. Met a lot of lifelong friends. Really got into the management of athletics as well there, learning some stuff about it, and really figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, you know? So it took me all 4 years to figure it out, but I think that was the place that helped me do that, you know what I mean?
So then you majored in the kind of like management kind of? Or
no,
kind of like...
actually, I started off with the chemistry major, and then I switched over to justice studies and history. I was planning on becoming a lawyer to really begin with. But I worked there as an intramural site manager and managing officials and managing teams and doing that kind of stuff, helping out with schedules. And so that's what got my interest going about that. And then when I got out of school, I ended up not going to law school, even though I went through all the steps to do so. Got some odd jobs, but then moved home and really pursued my teaching career, my teaching credential, and my master's and stuff like that.
So if you went, let's say you went back and you had a choice whether to kind of like start where you started off again or just start where you planned on going
For the future?
for the future.
No, I think the things that I learned being a justice studies major, and I think it all comes together to make me the best person I can be for this job. You know what I mean? A lot of issues arise at this job, so having that background and spending time talking about it, thinking about it, and writing about that kind of stuff in college was definitely helped me with how I handle situations, I believe, or how I look at situations today. So I don't think I would change anything. I think it all wraps up into a big pot that makes me the best athlete that I can be. I mean, there's tons of stuff I need to learn, but I think it was a good foundation for starting off.
Was it easy for your family to come down to like Morgan Hill based off of where you guys lived prior coming down?
Oh, like now that I live where I'm at.
Like your adjustment from moving to different locations. I mean, it is kind of hard for some families, like trying to find a job, trying to.
I was lucky enough to
So when
actually.
you're done,
I was in Morgan Hill before I got the job.
Okay.
So it was actually a good transition because it cut down on my driving time coming to Gilroy versus going to where I was before. So the reason why, part of the reason why I chose to come to Gilroy is because it was opposite commute. I've heard a lot of good things. Some of my wife's cousins have gone through here, and it meant that I had less time in the car per day and more time to do my job or be at home with my family. So.